President Rouhani, who is a moderate in Tehran, is that there is a limited amount of time for the European countries to get their act together. The president there, a moderate Rouhani, the moderate president of Iran, Rouhani, President Rouhani in Tehran, who is more of a moderate.
CNN going wall-to-wall, painting Iran's President Hassan Rouhani as a moderate politician who just wants to keep the Iran deal together. This as tensions are heating up. A massive show of force from Israel, bombing more than 35 military sites in Syria, both Iranian and Syrian, after an Iranian rocket attack on the Golan Heights. This is Israel's largest response in 45 years since the Yom Kippur War of 1973. Let's take a check of oil slipping but holding near multi-year highs on Iran supply concerns. CNN again reporting that Iran's President Hassan Rouhani is a moderate who is trying to fix that deal. But we got a guy who thinks otherwise. He's American Islamic Forum for Democracy. He's Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. Do words matter anymore? Does the word moderate have any meaning any longer?
Well, apparently, Liz, and thank you for covering this, because in my world, it seems, when did Press TV or Iranian state television start writing copy for CNN? I mean, it is bizarre. Their definition of moderate, I guess, is somebody who uses a little less chemical weapons than the other guy that's in the Supreme Council of the Sharia theocracy of Iran. So it's bizarre. They take Americans for fools. And let me just give you a little context, Liz, to show you how upside down the world of CNN and sort of doing anything possible to mollify the legacy of Obama. In Iran, the hashtag trending right now is "Thank you, Trump." They're trending a hashtag of "Thank you, Trump" because they are realizing that the economic pressure that's now coming to wait on the regime will finally give the revolution a chance. So
wait, will that happen? Well, here's the thing. Let's get to Rouhani just for a second before we get to that. Quickly, Rouhani has sent over 3,000 people to jail in a recent domestic crackdown. His regime brutalizes women and executes gay people. They've exported terrorism. They backed Syrian dictator Assad. They're test launching a lot of ballistic missiles, and they're increasing Iran's support for the Taliban. Does that sound like a moderate to you?
Absolutely not. And the only reason the dupes over at CNN are calling it moderate is because he panders to the West. He says he'll sit down. He says he's arguing against the more belligerent guys on the Islamist Supreme Council who don't want to pander, who want to just go to war, etc. So he makes himself out to appear moderate when he's just a better liar. And as you look at the list you just went through, he leads a juristic system that violates the human rights of everyone in his country. So there's nothing moderate about him. He's just a better, more slick exposure for Iran, and there's no difference ideologically in his theocratic mindset.
I mean, the UN has slammed Iran for human rights violations practically every year of its existence, of this regime's existence. Let me put it that way. To your point, the National Review described Iran's election of Rouhani last year as, quote, a ridiculous farce. In reality, an anti-American jihadist, meaning Rouhani, beat a slightly worse anti-American jihadist. Still don't know why the media continues to call him a moderate, but you said earlier that the opposition could get this regime out of there. How are they going to do that?
Well, they're going to do it by the West media platforms calling the truth, by looking at the fact that they are thanking us for beginning to put back sanctions in and beginning to enable them to bypass the firewalls against the use of apps like Telegram, WhatsApp, and others that regime, Rouhani's regime, has locked down. So there is a momentum, if you will, that's been building since January, and the greatest fuel to that has been this ending of the Iran deal. And I think also in Syria, if we continue to put pressure on Iran there and weaken their economy, they're going to have to pull back in and pay attention to the revolution, which will actually begin to weaken them even more.
Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, we love having you on. Come back soon.
Thanks, Liz.